Hello, good day to you all. This is Ecolet 47. I apologize about my inconsistent upload. Uh, this is a video that I had in my head that I've been wanting to make for a long time. I've started the channel when I had multiple things going on in my life and they got more intense over time. Uh, but this idea just kind of went into my head and I couldn't get it out and I knew I had to make a video on it, which is basically the whole reason why I started the channel in the first place. There's this rule that I found only discussed online in text form, and it's more of a rule of thumb, so calling it a rule is probably uh, not the best distinction, much like how economists will call things the laws of economics. I remember reading one article that said this can't happen due to the ironclad rules of economics. And it's like, no, the laws of economics are not laws in the same way of physics laws, but this is kind of similar. It's a rule of thumb, the 50 over 500 rule, where a population needs 50 individuals to prevent inbreeding depression and 500 individuals to guard against genetic drift at large. I don't know how many different times it takes where it said generic instead of genetic, but you need 50 individuals unrelated to prevent inbreeding depression and 500 individuals who are unrelated to guard against genetic drift at large. Uh, Assume like unrelated by like property of third cousin or further. You see, the early hominins was mixed of three separate main species that we know of, and it leaned more towards beachial than inbred. If you look at we have chromosome 2, which I've never mentioned. This is much more mentioned in more YouTube videos, so you can watch. We got St. Gibbon. I'm sure Varus Falca has a thing on it, but that's been done to death. I wanted to talk about something that has been done to death. I might link to some other videos below. I may not. No promises. Uh, so if you need a population of 50 to 500, uh, if you need 500 unrelated individuals in order for a species to continue, it's just not possible for humanity to have ever been a singular family. A lot of Christians will say that Adam and Eve was a metaphor, so that didn't really happen. Um, I've only heard one claim that Noah's Ark was a metaphor, and it creates the exact same problem. There's not enough humans to create the entire species of humans without significant inbreeding depression and genetic drift. It's just not possible at that level. There was one point in time where our ancestors were through a severe population bottleneck. The lowest recorded amount of breeding individuals in human history has been clocked at 1,280 between 930,000 and 813,000 years ago in northern Africa, I want to say. I haven't read up on that much either, but the existence of the 50 over 500 rule was created using a computer simulation model known as the population viability analysis. And it was developed to show the minimum viable population of a species. And it showed extinction risk. Uh, it showed that there are certain species with higher reproductive capacities, fruit flies, arthropods, and rodents that can accommodate lower minimal viable populations than species with lower reproductive capacities, such as like redwood trees, large mammals, humans and certain species of birds. High minimal viable population sizes are more common in species that are sedentary, such as trees, or ones that do not breed until individuals are several years old or older, such as humans, or that have mating behaviors in which only a few individuals account for most of the mating, or that show high levels of inbreeding, such as elephants, California condors, and cheetahs. This is important because we have records of major floods and other ecological disturbances and random events that cause fluctuation. Well, not random because they're based on climate, but that cause fluctuation in population variables such as sex ratios, number of births or deaths, and various different things that control the minimum population sizes. And we have had creatures that have been isolated from the rest of them and have been pushed under 500 and that end up dying out and increasing the death rate. And we, we have examples of this even in humans where, and I am going to butcher this pronunciation, so I'm putting it on screen. Uh, Pingalpes people who were affected by a typhoon, which, due to the fact that most of the people left had a gene for color blindness, the majority of Bengalese people nowadays have color blindness. The cheetah population was severely reduced by hunting and now has extremely low genetic diversity. And there are also several other examples of what is termed the bottleneck effect. We can see this happening to one species in particular, the Bengal tiger, who have one small isolated population found in northwest India and large connected populations from southern India. Due to forest destruction, or deforestation, I guess is probably the best way to say that, and pouching, there created a gap where once there was a connected community of tigers, the population in the central place where the poachers and hunters would go through was destroyed, leading to a disconnect where there's one isolated population and one larger, more connected one. Of course, it was found in the smaller group that there were more ignorant tigers, which have more deleterious alloids that are partially recessive, meaning that they have more genetic mutations and difficulties with uh, weaker recessive genes that are such to be bred out of a population end up doubling on top of each other. This stuff happens in humans. It creates what's known as the Habsburg jaw, but has created much worse effects. Royal family, royal families marrying within each other created uh, minimal viable population size of humans that was due small to prevent nick drifting, which led to recessive genetic disorders in, increasing. Meaning that at no point in human history could humans have just been one family. The reason why this happens is because closely related individuals are more likely to carry the same recessive genes, and recessive genes only reproduce when they have two of the same. Um, this is shown in a Mendel chart, which I will be showing on the screen currently. There are other things that happen. There are incomplete dominance, codominance, phylogenetic traits. This can be shown most vividly with flowers that sometimes when there are flowers that interbreed that have different color, like a red flower and white flower will create a pink flower other times. Depending on the species, it will create one that's half white, half red. There are various different forms of genetic expression.